Hey, this is DJ Soul for the Russell Norman Show, only on 107.1 FM, 1400 AM, KSHP. I have a very special guest, my sponsor, For Life Wellness. The Co-House Transitional offers an affordable and comfortable option for transitional and temporary housing rentals in Vegas. They strive to be the cultivator of independent transitional accommodations with support. You'll live normal and free, but minimum red tape, no deposit, no credit checks. Give them a call at 702-935-1300 or visit them at forlifewellnesscohouse.com. That's 702-935-1300, and the website is number 4lifewellnesscohouse.com. So, this is DJ Soul for the Russell Norman Show, only on 107.1 FM, 1400 AM, KSHP, and I have a very special guest. We're going to be talking about a very, very special topic that's impactful to the people in Vegas and the people all over America. We're going to be talking about the homeless epidemic, and it's definitely a crisis here that we see in this community. And I have someone who might be an expert on this topic, Mr. Ron Sr. for Life Wellness. Are you there, Ron?
I like how you say an expert on the topic.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I am here, man. It's good to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Let's just start it off. Please tell me about yourself and how you came into this field of work.
You know, it's interesting because it was kind of indirect. My career mostly was about marketing, business development, business management, and the company, family company, actually came to me just one day and just said, "Hey, look, we just want to let you know we're doing this out here in Vegas, and we wouldn't mind you coming and helping us out." So I looked at it and I saw it as at first I see it as something that I don't know if I could really do. You know what I mean? Because
yes, sir.
When I was told about mentally disabled people, the people that I grew up in were mentally disabled. These are the people that come at you with a knife and all that, So I'm thinking I'm dealing with those. But I still...
It happened to me before.
Yeah. So that happened a couple times to me. So that's what we thought we was dealing with. Now, although there are folks like that, that's not the main. That's not the majority. Majority of just folks that just, have issues. You know what I mean? Just mental
Yes,
issues.
sir.
They just are a little displaced. So what the formula came for my family was, let's actually just give them some stability as far as housing. Give them a place where they can be on the co-living kind of model that, some people will use, kind of like a patch split kind of thing, but just give them the accommodations that they can, that they're just short of, almost like a subsidized
right.
when it comes down to it.
Because
that part of it.
Yes, sir, because you do have a family business. Tell me about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It starts my mom's business, and it literally started with her philanthropic ways of just really wanting to go out there and help the homeless. She's been a counselor, a mental health counselor for specifically the homeless for several clinics in Vegas itself. But just one day, she saw that a lot of the people that were still on the street were receiving some level of funds, but it just wasn't enough for the mainstream, or just I call it the standard way of living, deposits, you have to get a credit check, you have to get a, criminal background check and all kind of stuff. And a lot of those have one or two or three negatives on those three elements. So she said, you know what, I'm just going to get a house for y'all, and just give me just, a three quarters, rather than the full thing, 3/4 of what you got. And, you have a room, and I'll make sure you still get your appointments, and I'll make sure you still get your food.
Right.
And that's what it was. And it just grew all of a sudden, 1, 2, and before you know it, we got to 7 houses, and we're working on our 8th right now. So, yeah,
wow.
That's how we got there.
8 houses. Hey, shout out to Miss Beverly Sr. Hey, by the way, this is DJ Soul, the hottest DJ in Vegas, on the Russell Norman Show, only on KSHP 107.1 FM, 1400 AM, Las Vegas Radio. And we're here with Ron Sr. for Life Wellness. Tell me, Ron, from your experience working directly with displaced individuals, how often do you see mental health challenges playing a role in someone becoming homeless?
I would probably say it's close to about 90, maybe about 95%.
Yikes.
But yeah, it's pretty high. For our Our results show that. But what people have to know, unfortunately, a lot of it is a little bit self-inflicted. I'm sorry to say a little bit. I'm saying a lot bit self-inflicted.
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of people that we come with, we're hearing, before they even know if they have preconditions, they're abusing drugs, they're abusing alcohol, they're abusing medicinal drugs, things that, as a naturalist myself, I don't think should be going in the human body, but, and nobody's perfect, and I'm not judging,
Yes, sir.
So with those elements of abuse, plus if you have already a precondition, psychological condition in the brain or whatnot, it's really going to cause a certain level of damage and toxicity in yourself that, automatically includes to rage, discomfort. You start snapping, for no reason. You start getting a sense of life where people don't want to be around you a lot of times. So you get that certain displacement and separation, from society itself, which leads to more depression because now you're getting alienated, and it just builds and builds and compounds. So you get somebody that realistically is almost have an ability to sometimes live with other people.
Yes, sir.
So we had to come up with that realization and find a way to just really balance it and understand that these are the folks we're dealing with, but let's still give them a solid enough community that they can live, So, yeah, it's tough. But and there's some people, some extreme cases, we do make sure, hey, we give you the housing so you have the stability, but we need you to still go to therapy. We got a doctor for you. Just at least, we're not going to push you, but at least know these resources are there. We fully recommend at least give it a shot. You know what I mean?
Right.
And do
I
what you can.
understand.
So, yeah, that balance is needed. Yeah.
So that balance is definitely needed, and we do see the behavior. It seems like society as a whole is suffering from mental issues, a lot of people, anxiety, depression, et cetera, and everybody is on the verge of snapping. So I do understand. Yeah. So when it comes to the public perception that most homeless individuals struggle with mental illness, you definitely see that as a big yes. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I would like people to understand that it's not, what they show on the internet. A lot of that is satire. You see the bum fights. I don't know if they have bum fights on there. That YouTube channel still exists or whatnot.
Oh, you definitely see that. Yes, sir.
That kind of stuff. You got they got a whole thread of in the streets, prostitution and stuff like that.
Exploitation at its finest.
Exactly. So they show all that, but you got to understand, and I don't condone, but you got to understand these people are doing what they got to do. You know what I mean? Our thought process was always, instead of forcing them to be in existence to kind of survive, let's put them in a place where they can at least have a stable place to be,
Yes.
a certain like small, almost micro community. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You got 13, 14 other people in this house that are, doing what you have or in a similar situation that you have, but, they're just trying to make it, help each other, go out there and feed each other, play this game.
Well, speaking of that,
bit of a hustle.
Speaking of that hustle and your work, placing people into housing, what are some of the biggest barriers that someone with those mental issues faces when trying to rent or maintain housing?
I think the only real big thing is the amount itself. The amount that they are capable of acquiring is not quite the same amount or the exact amount that's needed for a lot of these even lower income places. Say a lot of these folks that we deal with, they're on SSDI, which is disability insurance. That's about $900, $950. They go to budget suites or wherever. That's about $400 a week. So for a whole month, that's $1,600. You know what I mean? So you're in the hole. There's no way to do it. They get the place for maybe 2 weeks, and then they're back on the street. You know what I mean? For that part. So it's difficult. Then you have all these places, even with the lower income, a lot of times they still need, a deposit of some kind. And that's not including if you're trying to get a criminal check or background check or credit check. You know what I mean? So it's those barriers that they face, and that's the one thing that we see. So they can't get it. And then they're, it's a lot of stuckness. So,
well, once somebody finally gets stable housing, what kind of improvements do you typically see in their mental health or their overall stability?
The crazy thing about it is you see that force want of improvement. if that's the makes any sense. What I mean specifically by that is, you would think a person that has been on the street and, either, on drugs, on, meth, on crack, on cocaine, whatever their choice is, they just have a place, especially since we don't have a lot of the assisted living or sober living guards, out there, to help them out, to kind of guard them from other temptations, that they just go about and just make it happen, they'll go out and just use it as kind of like a new cesspool. But to be honest with you, what we see a lot of times is they are forcing themselves to want to improve, if that makes sense.
Yes,
they're reading those rules, they're following those rules, and they're saying, yo, I only was doing these temptations a couple of days ago, but I don't want that in my environment, and they see other people not trying to embrace that, so they want to follow that trend. You know what I mean?
Yes,
now, don't get me wrong, in our specifically because we don't have those guards up, they still try to sneak out a little bit, but you see that want of improvement. They still say, hey, don't come with me if you're talking to their friends or whatever. No, don't come with me. You're not coming to my spot to do that because that's not allowed. You know what I mean? Sorry, go back there. That's my place of serenity.
I wish my friends did that in my house.
Yeah.
They tore my house up, man. Let me tell the people in Vegas, this is DJ Soul, the hottest DJ in Vegas on the Russell Norman Show. We have a special guest, Ron Sr., talking about the homeless epidemic. We have time for a couple of more questions. We're going to make it brief and wrap this up, sir. So,
got you.
Do you think homelessness is primarily a housing problem, a mental health problem, or a policy failure, or somewhere in between?
I think it's a mixture of both. On the mental side, it's with kind of the issues that they have a sense of helplessness, you know what I mean, that hurts them or kind of has them kind of a little resistant towards going towards administrative buildings, seeing a caseworker, really going out to get that help, for that part. Policy-wise, I think a lot of the governments do an okay job as far as at least having the stuff. You can always have some kind of assistance. But I think the gap is you have to go through a good amount of tribulations in order to access that. Do you see what I'm saying? And on the regular private or public housing part, on the private side, a lot of times they have the actual funds, and then they even have the facilitations, but they're very undesirable. As well as if you go and just take the funds, take them to the private side, now you have the desirable means, but unfortunately you don't have the funds. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So it's just that gap. If you get all three characterizations that is labeled right there, you just have that little bit of gap that is just, man, if we can just bridge that a little bit, for Life Wellness, Co-House Transitional. No,
exactly.
Shameless plug, but you bridge it,
Well,
I mean? You can
speaking of plugs, yes, sir. Yeah. It sounds like we have a lot of work to do. And please tell Miss Beverly I said thank you, because I'm proud to have you as a sponsor for the Russell Norman Show. So please, Ron. Yes, sir. Tell them about you and where they can find you briefly. We're wrapping up this interview.
Sure. The best way is to get online. That's the number 4, lifewellnesscohouse.com. That's our website. But you can always just call us directly. Our number is 702-935-1300. 702-935-1300. See us on the web. Hit us up. You can call and text. And so any kind of questions you have, we've never turned anybody away. We can always accommodate. So, give us a call and tell us your situation and see what we can figure out for you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Senior. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, Ron Senior for Life Wellness, one of our sponsors on the Russell Norman Show. This is DJ Soul, the hottest DJ in Vegas on 107.1 FM, 1400 AM, only on KSHP, launching March 21st, Saturday, 7 p.m. Thank you, Vegas.